The story of Óscar Pérez and his companions is one of honor, bravery, and sacrifice. A modern version of David and Goliath. It serves as a lesson and a symbol to the world that good men and women will rise to the task during their darkest hour and do everything in their power to take on the bullies and dictators of the world. Even if facing unbeatable odds, they were willing to pay the ultimate price to say no to tyranny and yes to liberty. Óscar Alberto Pérez, born 7th of April 1981, and grew up and lived in Caracas, Venezuela. He later became a criminal investigator, helicopter pilot, actor, and firearms specialist. During his time working in law enforcement, Pérez witnessed many levels of corruption within the Venezuelan government, including drug trafficking, extortion, and theft of the Venezuelan people. After many years of Venezuelans being crushed and stepped upon by the Venezuelan government, Óscar Pérez decided that he would begin his rebellion against Nicolás Maduro, the dictator of Venezuela, who solidified his lead by crushing all opposition and using the military and law enforcement to control the people within Venezuela. His first act of rebellion was stealing a helicopter from his place of work and flying over several government buildings and throwing non-lethal stun grenades and firing blank cartridges over the buildings in order to gain attention to the 350 Liberty banner that he was flying in the helicopter. And that states in the Constitution that the people of Venezuela shall disavow any regime, legislation, or authority that violates the democratic processes within the country and encroaches upon the human rights. The next notable act of rebellion from him and his group was called Operation Genesis, which was the takeover of the command station of one of the National Guard units in the Miranda state, which resulted in the theft of 26 rifles, 3 handguns, and other equipment that would help them in the fight against the dictatorship. In the operation, no soldiers were injured or killed. Almost every other rebel military action conducted by other groups and this group around this time period was to capture and distribute weapons to the civilian population in order to fight back against the loyalists of Maduro. The civilian population had been completely left defenseless, with the private ownership of firearms being banned in 2012. This should be an important lesson to the people of the United States that you cannot always rely on the military to uphold their oath to the people and to the Constitution. Firearms in the hands of moral and free people are essential. Unfortunately, on January 15th of 2018, Óscar and his team's position was located and surrounded by the military and law enforcement commanded by Nicolás Maduro. Due to a female companion of the group being trapped inside the house during the siege, Óscar tried to negotiate a surrender in order to spare the life of an innocent person inside. His selfless act, however, was ended when a gun battle commenced with large amounts of small arms fire. It is unknown who fired first, However, leaked footage and audio indicates that government forces were unorganized and unable to stop their troops from launching an assault. The battle raged for many hours, and throughout the day, Óscar made several videos with pleas for help and attempted to surrender in order to save the lives of his men and an innocent bystander.
Dijimos que no íbamos a entregar y no quieren dejar que nos entreguen, nos quieren asesinar. Disparan, nos están disparando. El pueblo de Venezuela, libertario por siempre. Venezuela. Venezuela, Dios es nuestro escudo. Todo el pueblo unido.
Óscar's group was completely surrounded by almost 500 enemy soldiers, which many launched rocket-propelled grenades, small arms fire into the building. Eventually, a BMP armored vehicle would be brought in to fully destroy the house and end the gun battle. After Óscar's last video was published, it is unknown what occurred during that time period when the gun battle had ended. However, we know that almost all members of the group killed were killed with gunshots to the head. Many believe this was from an execution. Óscar and 6 others inside the house were killed, including a woman, who at first was believed to be pregnant. 2 government soldiers were also killed and 5 injured. The government quickly destroyed all evidence of what happened and buried the bodies shortly after. Their story will not be forgotten. Their bravery to stand up to a dictatorship and their attempt to save an innocent person from certain death is the highest reflection of character and honor any nation can observe. Although Venezuela is still controlled by Nicolás Maduro, the actions and stories of these men will one day hopefully inspire future generations of Venezuelans to step up and take back their country and end the looting and destruction of Venezuela. These are not just Venezuelan heroes, they are heroes to the world. As Simon Bolivar once said, when tyranny becomes law, rebellion is a right.
Le quiero pedir a Venezuela que no me fallezcan.
Queda así, hermano.
que luchen, que salgan a las calles. Es hora que seamos libres. Y solo ustedes tienen el poder ahora. Dios con nosotros y Jesucristo nos acompaña.